Happy Friday, everyone. This is Austin. It's Flashpoint Friday, and I'm excited to be here. I have a very special interview for you today. Do you know someone who just happens to get it done no matter what it is? No matter what comes in their lap, in their world, they figure out a way not only to get it done for themselves, they're able to get it done for other people, able to help people with complex problems, simplify them, and get them to the desired result. This next guest I've known for a long time. Had the honor to feature him in the Flashpoint book that just won Amazon bestseller list. We're working on #1. That's a Freudian slip. Feature his incredible story in this book. I like to call him, and I'm going to coin this right now, he'll like this, the Swiss Army knife of business automation and motivation. Help me welcome my dear friend, Mr. Brandon Schaefer.
Oh, dude.
How you doing, man? You good?
The Swiss knife. What the heck? What did you say? Can you rinse and repeat that? What you said?
Yeah,
that was amazing, man.
The Swiss Army knife of business automation and motivation.
I love it.
Dude, that's you, man.
I love it. The Swiss Army knife. It is, man. You know what helps me get to be the Swiss Army knife is all the vast experiences I've had and the failures I've had that made me rehone my tools and understand what works and so forth. But really appreciate you having me on here, Austin. You know, I'm a huge fan and I definitely buy what you're selling. So it's great to be here, man. I'm excited to talk.
I am too. And I want to get the most out of this, not only for me, but for the viewers. We already have some people on here, Brandon, and I want to honor these people for coming on. You might know some of them.
Mandy, hello. Of course, I know our poet. Yes.
Yes, she actually just read the poem, and we have Tony on here. You know her too.
Nice, Tony. Excellent.
We'll have some other people joining in, but Brandon, I want to grab this time with you because you put your story in the book, and I'd like you to go back because I want to bring this up. We don't talk about this much. You and I have been on many times, and you've talked about this before. You've kind of drifted out, but you used to stutter growing up. Is that right?
Yeah, my whole life. Yeah. I could go back to it right now if I stop thinking about what I'm going to say for 2 seconds. So
really?
Yeah.
How do you manage that? How do you get yourself to, because to me, that's like, that's a little fear. That's a microcosm, right, of the fears we could face in life. I mean, in your mind, it could be small, but they say how you do something is how you do everything.
Mm-hmm.
So how does that show up? How do you overcome that?
Oh, man. Well, I'll tell you a little story, man. When I was in, I think it was 4th grade, right? We were all trying out for music. You know, kids wanted to play like the violin. Kids wanted to play the saxophone was real popular. You know, the bigger the instrument, the better. Kids wanted to play the guitar, the drums. So I wanted to play the drums. So I went to go in the drum room, and the teacher, you know, as a 4th grader, this is how life impacts you, you know, and these are how people can impact you. But there's a happy ending in this story. So I'll tell you the story and then I'll tell you the happy ending. Is that, you know, I sit down. First of all, I have no rhythm. If you've ever seen me dance, it's not good, right? I don't have any rhythm. I'm just not musically inclined in any way, shape, or form. So it's a blessing that they actually didn't give me the opportunity to play drums. But I'm sitting there, I'm trying to talk. I'm not able to talk. And the teacher's like, this is what the teacher straight up said to me. She said, listen, you need to go to speech class, not be here in drum class. And, you know, at that time, it breaks your heart. But at that time, sometimes peers or our elders really know what's right for us. As much as it hurts, you know, as much as it hurt me then, and it definitely didn't cause me it definitely didn't help me to improve anything in my life at that point, but it did. It sent me to speech class because sometimes people will just let you roll through life and not call you on your junk, you know, on your BS. So in my life, the sooner that people call me on my BS, the better. And that's why I surround myself with people today, like yourself, Austin, like Tony, like Mandy, like Maria, like Gordon, and all these new people that I came to actually start to have some relationships through the book, right? By putting myself out there. It's so important that those people, tell me the truth. Like, I don't want to be the naked emperor walking through, not being able to talk. I don't want to be the person walking around with no clothes on and everyone just saying, oh, that's Brandon. He's fine. He can do that. Like, I want to be a person that fits in today. And I think that's so important for people, just to understand that feedback always isn't negative. Like, a lot of times people get feedback and they just take it as that person doesn't like me. But the thing with feedback too is that, a lot of people will may give you feedback based upon the way that they feel. And that's why you have to have a very strong inner self-truth to yourself and put the hard work in every single day so that you have the proper mindset to say, I'm going to listen to what they said, but I'm also going to blend up my own recipe for success. Because in everything that anybody says to you, there probably is 1/10 of a truth in there. I mean, if they're saying something negative, there may be, if they're just rattling off, oh, you're a jerk, you're this, you're that, it could be in a personal relationship, business relationship, they're all intertwined, right? So, if someone's calling you 10 different names, one of them is probably true out of the 10. As much as you don't want to believe it, it's probably true. So, but Flashpoint family, yes, I see, man, put that.
Yeah, actually, and she's also saying, she's a great dance teacher. So if you want
to, I'm a great dance teacher. Listen, I'm going back to speech class. Okay, don't worry. I'm no dance.
Brandon, I want to just honor you for sharing that because because it translates to today and what you're saying about feedback. I know for me, feedback for me was, here's what I heard: you're not good enough.
Yeah,
that's what I heard. That's why I would get like defensive, and it would crumble me. And I've grown. I welcome feedback because for me, and I think you and I are, kind of drink from the same Kool-Aid, is that that discomfort or what you think is discomfort in the moment is worth a ton of growth. And I tell people, I always want your feedback. I may not always agree with it, but what happens is I always get better because of people's feedback. Even if I don't take the feedback directly, it always causes me to improve. And I love feedback. And as you know, in our group, we love just being authentic and just saying it like it is.
Yeah. And it helps. I mean, and again, if you're not in the proper mindset though, feedback can be taken the incorrect way. Like when people give me feedback, I must say that when people give me feedback, my first instinct is they don't know what they're talking about every single time, or they're a jerk, or they're this, or they're that.
Right.
And my second instinct is to tell them that. Like, I don't agree with what you're saying. You're wrong. Yeah, but my third learning lesson is the 1, 2, 3. My third thing is to keep my mouth shut and just understand and let it digest in, right? Because words hurt, and I can easily lash out. If someone gives me feedback, I can easily lash back out and say something. But really, if I say something, it's just a shortness or a weakness of how I'm feeling. 99% of the time, it's not going to come from a point of helpfulness, of usefulness, of love, of caring, of forgiveness, of understanding, of accepting. It's not going to come from that point. It's going to come from a point of some like little nugget, one millionth of a cell in my body, which has all this anger, which has all this negativity. It's just waiting there for something for somebody in the Acme line or the Gennardi's line or the Home Depot line to step in front of me or to do something else. And then all of a sudden, boom, it comes out. And that's what I'm trying to stop doing today. Yeah. And it's through Flashpoint that I'm learning to educate myself learning through the stories. So
we all do. I mean, I get feedback all the time, and we give each other feedback. And I think it's so good to talk about this. This was unplanned, but this is so good because we all need to hear this. And, and I think for me, like I said, I think we're more open to feedback if you just realize that you don't have to do what that person's saying. If you just interpret that feedback as, I'm going to grow either way, and I appreciate you taking the time to let me know about it, right? And that's the mindset. But like you said, initially there's that right? It's that like, well, who are you to tell me? Who are you to tell me that? But Brandon, I want to talk about why you've grown and where you are today is one of the things, and you wrote about this in the book, is mindset. And I think you do a great job of, even though you just obviously you talked about what goes on, right? You don't want to accept it. You want to tell them off, but you do a great job of monitoring your mindset. What do you do to draw that best mindset in so that you continue to show up and be such a positive impact in people's lives?
Oh man, it is a full-time job. It is a full-time job, brother. 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There is no time off, man. So a few things that I do is, I stay in today. Today is really the strongest point, right? And I know people get all philosophical about it and everything else, but for me, really, I'm trying to stay in the moment as best as possible. And I also know that the setup for tomorrow is in today. So if I'm not taking care of today, I'm not going to be able to take care of tomorrow, right? So a few things that I do, I'll just kind of rattle off a few different things. So as soon as I wake up in the morning, I'll just go through my daily routine here. So when I wake up, and it won't take long, don't worry. It will only take a minute or two.
We got time.
I'm not gonna stretch it out.
Show Brandon some love, everyone, by the way. Let us know you're watching, because we see a few people on and jumping on.
I see the love already, man. I feel the love, man. I feel the love. But if you have if you want to leave a comment, please do so, man. I always laugh and smile. You'll see me chuckle. But when I wake up in the morning, before my eyes open up, as soon as I wake up, now these are just triggers for me, right? I'm not a religious person by any means. But this is one of my triggers right here. I put my hands together like this, just like this on my bed. And I know some people may say, hey, this is great. I put my hands together just like this before my eyes even open up, and they may be close to my chest. They may be here, whatever, because this is a sign of awakening for me when I do that. Right now, some people associate this with prayer because that's what it's associated with. For me, it is associated with just getting my mindset right. So, and in fact, when I really do think about it, I really do say a few different prayers, too. But I'm not.
Okay to be spiritual, man.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm not talking. Yeah, that's what I'm more of a spiritual than a specific religion. So I do that, and then I go through a couple different mental exercises. So I do a few breathing exercises, and this is all before I'm really like cognitive, and have arisen out of bed. So I'll do a few breathing exercises. I have a few readings that I've actually memorized that just like I go through, and they're all like 2 or 3 paragraphs long, and I'll go through each one of those, and then I'll open up. I'll open my eyes, and once I do that, usually I have a reading that I do on my phone, and it's just a motivational reading for that day or something else like that, and then I'll immediately write 5 things I'm thankful for. I do that. I do that every single morning before my feet hit the floor in the morning. I'll write down 5 things that I'm thankful for, and I've done it, continually for probably a year now. Maybe I started maybe like a year ago, because I really needed to push deeper. And then it's funny too, because I'll do another thing that a lot of people relate to religion. Is actually I roll out of bed and get right to my knees. I roll right to my knees out of bed. And again, these are all trigger points, just saying, listen, today's going to take everything that we have to get through, everything that we have to get through. So that's just in the first probably, 5 minutes. And then all throughout the day, I'm constantly talking to myself and correcting myself when I say something negative. When I have that negative thought, I immediately, and this drives my wife crazy, I immediately correct it in my head. So if I say it like, this guy's a total jerk, or this guy's a total tool, you know, or whatever, you know, so if someone does something like out of the ordinary, I'll be like, this guy's a total tool, man. What the heck? Why would you do that? And then I immediately transition to, I wonder what's going on in his life. You know, is there something it's probably not me, because a lot of times the situations aren't directly, like if someone lashes out, it's not directly at you. It just, they might have kids, a parent that's sick. They might have a dog that just passed away. They might have, we just don't know, you know? I'll tell another quick story. So, you know, I'm in Starbucks, and typically I walk into Starbucks and just grab the first cup of coffee that I get because I think it's mine, right, on the counter. In reality, it's not. It's Sally's, right? So I don't know Sally's mad at me, but when I see this lady, when I go in the bathroom and come out of the bathroom with this cup of coffee, drinking it, and it clearly says Sally on the side, and I'm ignorant and didn't look at it, and she's yelling at me, like, who's at wrong here? I'm at wrong. So if I just lashed out back at her or him or anyone, you know, it's not going to be right. And that's why when you take a step back when somebody's talking to you and just digest it, maybe take a look around, just breathe for a second. Like Dr. George says, you know, just breathe for a second. Give yourself that 2, 3, 4 seconds. It makes all the difference in the world. And then at nighttime, I always do a quick recap of the day. Like what could I have done? I don't like to say shoulda, coulda, woulda, but what may I have done differently to get a different result? What may have occurred, or how can I do this improvement? And then I go to sleep and I rinse and repeat, man. But the most important thing is staying consistent every single day, rinse and repeat.
Yeah, well, there's so many great things in there. I want to take a moment to pause and talk about the Flashpoint Hourglass, because you brought up living in the moment. And we use this as a tool to know that, you know, you have your future, you got your past, right? And then right here is what matters. Each moment, as we're here right now, you click on this video, give us a comment, give us a like, let us know you're here. Let us know you're in the moment. We got some great shares. You know, our reactions are always on us. And that's true. I've found this to be true. Whenever I'm like in a pissed off state and I'm projecting outwards, 1000%, once I calm down, it's me, right? It's me that had the issue. And therein lies the constant need to forgive and to correct that mindset. So Brandon, you just gave an ocean of great stuff. You hit all the things that I continually strive for, and that I think everybody listening to this could get so much from, because there's the middle part of the day. We all got that down. We all live the day, but those waking moments, you're pre-framing your day. You're doing things that are going to set your day up to win. And the other thing, which you do, you go back and recap the day. Those two things can change your life right there. Those two things. And you think they're simple, they're not. They are a constant going back, especially you got a family, you got a wife. It's like, how do you find time to do that? My goodness. Like, it's because you want to be present for your family, but you're also pouring into your own cup so that you can also show up for them. Right.
Yeah. I kind of left out the working out too. I'm a big fanatic of working out as well. And I'm not nothing crazy or anything else like that. So food and nutrition is a big part of my balance, and everything that I talk about. When I talk about the beginning of the day, that's the one bookend. When I talk about the end of the day, that's the other bookend. Those are your bookends, right? And then it's what we do in between that's going to determine our success for that day, and then what's going to determine our success for tomorrow. Because if we're messing around, fooling around, doing stuff that we're not supposed to be doing, getting involved in situations that aren't going to enrich our lives, that are going to negatively impact not only us, but other people, because every action that we do affects other people, whether we know it or not. I have 3 kids. We have 3 kids. We have a dog. We have people that depend on me. And if I choose to, not show up or do something else or become unreliable, it breaks the congruency. And when you break the congruency, it breaks the trust. And when you break the trust, you're screwed. I mean, and it takes a lot of time to win back trust. I put trust with, go and pick anybody that's broken the trust. or has messed up a relationship, whether it be in personal or business, find the spot in your grass out in your yard that is dead. That's just dirt because it's in the shade. It has no sun, and try to grow grass there. When you start growing grass there, you will start to heal your relationships, right? But that's how long it takes. Find the darkest spot in your yard that has never grown grass. It's mossy. Yeah. It's got too much lime. Enrich it, man. That's where that's how long it takes. It takes time. Time heals though too.
Yeah. And you know what? I want to hit on this, and I'll go a little deeper on this.
Yeah.
Why it's so important. You talked about correcting yourself. What I've realized, when I'm upset about somebody, even if I'm not interacting with them, we're separate. The thoughts that I'm emanating, I've learned, are impacting that person even when I'm not engaged with them. Mm-hmm. It's on me to correct myself or to call them immediately, as quick as I possibly can, to get that off my chest. Because if I don't, it's just you're adding more that ball, that black ball, that grass, that dead grass is going to get bigger. And next thing you know, your yard's going to be gone. And you just kind of, man, just the cowbell, man. That's a great moment right there. Think about that. So if you're thinking negatively about somebody right now, deal with it. Deal with it. Like Brandon said, it's the grass, man. What a great metaphor.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I also say, again, I'm not talking in a religious sense here in any means, but pray for them. Understand that people, like I mentioned earlier, people have a lot going on in their life.
That is so true.
A lot. Yeah. And I get on and listen to stuff all the time, and all I hear about is the great things, and social media is great for this too. All you see is people, flying around on fancy boats and planes and helicopters and all this stuff. It's like, I just want to see the real people. I don't want to see the filters on top of the stuff. I get it. It looks nice. I'm not looking for a person that's on a magazine cover. I'm looking for a human being just like me that is going to be able to relate to what in the world is going on in the world. Like, have a normal conversation, man. That's it.
Yeah. People love the cowbell. So that's another cowbell moment. Authenticity, like being real, right? Like, I like the fact. By the way, let me just acknowledge Daphne's on here as well. Daphne, we love you. We're glad you're here.
She's great.
We got the book. We're highlighting Brandon today, author in the book. And Brandon, I was looking at your chapter, read your chapter. Incredible story. And would you call it The Renegade's Tale of Redemption? So that's Brandon's chapter. The Renegade. I love that, man, because you are a renegade in of a sense, and what you bring, and I love the fact that you're so authentic, and really there was something else I wanted to grab, but it'll come up. There's been so much. We can listen to the playback here. So what we were just talking about, obviously correcting yourself, and when moments come up, talking about being authentic. Because there's the filters, right? And everybody loves the sex appeal, but I liken it to the artist studio. Everybody loves to appreciate the art that's hanging on the wall, the painting, but nobody's walking into the art studio with the paint all over the freaking place, right? The dirty clothes, the house is a mess, right? But then there's the art, and it's both of those things that I think people want to see, right? They just don't want to see. Yep. Like, I don't want to see you on the mountaintop. I want to see what it was like climbing up when your hands were bloody and your knees were scraped up, and you're trying to figure it out, right? I mean, Brandon, I'll let you talk on this, but isn't it like we're all just trying to figure the freaking thing out day by day? We're trying to it's clumsy, right? Is it like you wake up and it's like sunshine and rainbows, and everybody's smiling, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna sign up with Brandon. We're gonna do business with Brandon," right? Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's I wake up, and unfortunately, sometimes my first thought is fear, and that's why, holy cow, how am I going to do this? And that's why the trigger, right? My trigger, boom, it stops that. I do that, boom, it stops. Courage greater than fear, success. fear greater than courage, failure in my life. That is a simple equation. I can do all types. I can get a whole wall. I can write out all types of fancy equations for you. Courage greater than fear equals success in my life. Try it. It will probably work in your life as well. But I try not to get too fancy with anything. In fact, we were talking about tech before we got on here today. But, you know, being successful is not easy. And I know a lot of people assign money with success.
Yes.
But man, I know a lot of people that I look up, probably the people that I look up to the most may not have the most, but the best part of them that I love the most is that they're genuine, they're sincere, they're authentic, and they are doing the right things for the right reasons. You know, they're not like, you know, all over the place like me. I have aspirations of, and I've done very well. I mean, but my aspirations are, you know, through the ceiling, you know, so I don't like to fly on a plane. I want to fly on a private plane, right? I see a plane flying above me in the sky, a private plane flying above me in the sky, and it pisses me off. I'm like, I should be on that freaking plane now, right? Because I don't like to wait. You know, when I go fly, I think if I have to fly to Florida, it takes 7 hours. By the time I drive to Philadelphia airport, park, get there 2 hours before, get on the plane, fly 2 hours here. I'm like, I was just telling my wife this yesterday as we were walking our dog. I was like, I understand. We were having a different type of conversation, but I said, I understand why people fly privately. Now, I also think it's a total waste of money. So there's the congruency issue there in my actual head. I mean, why would I pay, you know, $15,000 one way to go to fly to Florida? But I understand why people do things. And I think that's a big part of just being successful, is that when you can understand and get out of the way and just understand that people's prerogative are their prerogative. If they want to buy all this fancy, let them do that. For me, one of my goals was just to fly privately. So that's a big goal for me. Now, I don't do that as of yet, but I think everyone has to have some like high goals for themselves. So I'd like to learn from you too, but I'm just like, what do you think about setting goals that are just out of the ordinary? I understand, like, hey, I'm going to make, you know, $75,000 a year, then 150, then 250, then 450, whatever it is. But I always like to have those like outlandish type things.
We got a couple minutes left, but I'll say one thing about it. This just came up for me today. And I said to myself, I need to level up this thing that I've been thinking about. I need to level up and get it on the calendar now. It needs to scare me. It needs to excite the you know what out of me and scare the you know what out of me. And I need to take those energies and boom, I need to get into action. That's my take on it, because your goals, most of people's goals are not big enough because they don't realize the potential that lay dormant inside of them. And it just needs to be tapped into. It needs to be unlocked, unleashed. And that's what we're working on through this book, through what Brandon's bringing to the world every day. I called them the Swiss Army knife of business automation and motivation, taking complex processes and simplifying them to help you get to your destination, whether you're a CEO trying to figure out the tech world, whether you're trying to get your own business automated, whether you're working on a database system, whatever. Brandon's an expert at it. And not only that, he does it with enthusiasm, with authenticity, and with care. And that's my feeling. Brandon, we got a minute left. I want you to give it to you and just leave the folks with some final thoughts.
Yeah, man. I would just say, just start, man. Just be true to yourself and just go get it. You know, just be smart and get around. The most important thing is to get around people like yourself, Austin. You have done a great job in surrounding yourself with a great team. I see Daphne on here, Tony, and all the rest of the crew. But really, and just dovetail off of them. Like, you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. You already have great people. So I connected with Tony. I'm going to connect with Daphne. You know, that's what you do. You connect with the leaders, the influencers, the authoritative resources in your specific market segment. Let them know, hey, I want to work with you. I don't care. I don't have a job. Well, when you do, reach out. I'm the first one. I'll show up early. I'll leave late. I'll do whatever you ask me. Okay. Let me know when you're ready to work with someone that's like that. So, just reach out to who you want to work with. That's it. Reach out directly.
Yep. And that's what happened with the book. Brandon, I called you up within a minute. You said yes.
Yes.
Right.
That's because I believe in you.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. Have a conversation. If it's not a yes, it's a to be continued. It's a yes at some point. Brandon, I honor you. I'm glad to have this time with you, brother. And this is just the beginning. So stay plugged in. There's going to be so much more to come. So we're going to end.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, man. Here we go. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next week for Flashpoint Friday.